G'day, how you doing? Adam here from Poseidon Racing with another video in this series, which of course is the ultimate beginner's guide to Zed Run. You're probably getting sick of me saying that, but this beginner's guide is better than all the paid ones, and it's absolutely free right here on YouTube. Okay, in this short video, we're going to look at what currently matters in racing. Let's switch to full screen and take a look. Okay, so I'm here on one of the Zed blog pages and we can see racehorse characteristics here. And you can see that every racehorse is born with a set of characteristics that includes distance preference, gait preference, handicap, and fatigue factor. Now we're also hearing, or I have heard straight from the developers, that there is other characteristics potentially as well. Things like weather preference, so does your horse prefer sunny, dry, fast tracks as opposed to rainy, wet, heavy tracks? And also location preferences, as in, does your horse prefer to run, for example, this might not be exactly accurate, but does your horse prefer to run in the northern hemisphere as opposed to the southern hemisphere? Or does your horse prefer a particular continent or even a specific race event or race track? They could all be things that are implemented as far as preferences are concerned or traits are concerned in the future. Now, right here, right now, in the beta version of Zed Run, from all the information that I've gathered from the developers and those in the know, the only trait that currently matters is distance preference. Okay, so currently it doesn't matter about weather, it doesn't matter about gait preference, there is no fatigue factor and there is no handicap currently from all the information that I've been told up to date. When that changes, I will inform you. But what is interesting is currently distance preference is the main criteria. Now, how do we go about ascertaining which distance our horse likes? Well, basically, as it currently stands, the odds are a great indicator. So keep your eye on those racing odds. And if your horse is getting lower odds, you know, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 odds at one particular distance and getting $15, $20, $30 odds at another distance, then maybe stop racing at the longer odds and start focusing on those shorter odds distances. That would be my recommendation. Now, the other thing that is really interesting with these preferences is in the current Zed ecosystem, we are all valuing, and I am guilty as well, we are all highly valuing the horses that are currently very talented in this current, you know, sunny weather conditions, if you like, and no gait preferences and no handicaps and no fatigue factors. So there are a lot of horses that may well be underappreciated and possibly undervalued in the current system. Here's a question that might help you develop a vision for the future. Are there going to be horses that are currently $15 odds, $20 odds, $30 odds, that in a particular condition, let's say for example, in the northern hemisphere at a specific track, in the rain, from a specific gate number, you know, maybe even throw in some handicapping there. Are some of those horses going to be absolute monsters in some of those much more specific conditions? I don't know the answer to that, but I assume that there could be a handful or there could be many of those horses that are currently underappreciated and undervalued that might go on to be future champions when these traits sort of mix and match and become more specific, because currently the only trait that is in the ecosystem, in the racing system, that is being considered is distance preference. So we don't know. Some of those horses or some of the horses underappreciated might run really well from a specific gate. What is currently happening is maybe on the gate preference, maybe all the horses are just running, you know, by their defaults, and then some horses are going to be really good in some gates and some horses are going to be really bad in other gates. We don't really know. So it's really interesting and really intriguing how this is going to develop in the future when we do have things like handicapping, fatigue factor, gate preference, weather preference, country preference, and look, any other preferences that there may be. So keep that in mind when you're developing your vision. There might be horses currently within your budget that may end up being significantly better when these preferences are added. You know, we're all, as I said, I'm guilty of looking at the horses as they stand right now and trying to buy the winners as they are right now. But maybe, I can't guarantee this, and it's never financial advice, of course, but maybe there could be some, you know, really cheap horses that are just maybe on the borderline of winning currently and not really appreciated, that once you get those conditions could shift up to being really great horses. Who knows? The future will tell, but it's all about, this is what I do and this is what I recommend you should do, is I try and develop a vision for what I think the game will look like in the future, and then I try and buy horses accordingly. So not only on the preferences, but the other thing to really consider as well is currently the current race ecosystem is just one race and done, one race and done, one race and done. So we're all looking at those what we call U-shaped horses. And what U-shaped means, and we'll delve into that a little bit more in a future video, but essentially a horse that wins a lot and comes last a lot. All right? So really fast winner and a really slow loser in the same horse. And that tends to mean that that horse can stay down in the lower grades and has a high winning percentage of these one and done type races, these single entry races. But what happens if in the future Zed Run has multi-tiered tournaments where you have to win that tournament, you might have to go through 10 rounds of finishing sixth or higher. 10 rounds of finishing sixth place or higher up to first place. You know, these horses that finish a lot first and a lot last are going to struggle in those tournaments, whereas horses that maybe don't win a lot, but they come second to seventh a lot, are maybe going to be the ones that really dominate these multi-tiered tournaments. Something to think about as well. So there's lots of different angles. Don't be too concerned at this point just because you can't afford one of the monster champion races that suits the current conditions perfectly. Have a look and have a think about where you think the game might be going from all the information around, and what might be the next racing format that comes in that you can buy an underappreciated horse and maybe have a horse that tends to dominate or be very, very good at that next racing style and those next racing traits. Some of it's a bit of a mystery and a bit of a gamble, but some of it can be a calculated, you know, vision into the future as well. Okay, I hope that helps. I know it's a little bit wishy-washy and a little bit mysterious, but build that vision and start buying those horses that you think fit that vision. Again, not financial advice, but I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that you have the best vision moving forward and you can build your stable up with some of those underappreciated, undervalued horses. All right, thanks again for watching along. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.